Hello, alright. Trying to get back to my usual Sunday stream here since I'm pretty happy with the state of the game lately. There's definitely some things that are kind of on the top of the meta, some of which I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't think any of them are a major issue either, and it's mostly personal preference. So today I'm gonna get back to my usual kind of Sunday deck showcase here, updating one of my old favorites, the Yellow-Black Crusader Necromancer, or I suppose they've been renamed to Undead now. Well, not quite sure when that happened, but that's alright by me. But it's an old favorite of mine, just Yellow-Black Tomb Control. It was suffering for a little while there before the Vileroth change, but now Tomb decks can breathe again, so I've been having a lot of fun with it. I suppose let's just jump right into what we have going on here. So you've got a lot of just kind of the usual control and tomb tools. There are a few bits of nuance to the list here. I skip a lot of my early game here because at its core it's still a Joan-Vive list. Even though she may not be quite the insane force that she used to be, if you build around her now she can actually be very strong still, particularly since she's nice and one-sided. So if you limit the targets, especially on the low end of the curve, she can get a lot of really big value. This Con Artist here is a recent addition. There's a few other cards I like to play more than Con Artist usually, but I'm kind of afraid of the item combo decks, so he helps mess those up. If I wasn't afraid of the item combo decks, I'd probably be running Gorgon, because she's just a really cool card in general now in her current state. She can help slow down aggro, or she can take a giant unit out of play for a little bit in the late game. And 4 attack is just a really nice thing to have. Like, she's good to be revived, and it's perfect to go kill a trading post. But right now I'm more afraid of the item bounce lists than I am aggro, and this deck's already got a decent amount of healing as it is. Of course, you also have Pterodactyl as an option, but I figure we have Sacred Ground, and Pterodactyl is kind of a bad target for Joan-Vive, so I leave that one out of this list. Similar deal with Salahar Soldier. Like, our curve's kind of high, we've got enough card advantage, and that's really not something you want to see get revived. So it's mostly down to a choice between... Oh, there's also Bone Drake. Bone Drake's also pretty solid, since we don't have a ton of tomb payoffs on this list, but it's kind of a very average Joan-Vive revive. But it's a perfectly solid pick. But Bone Drake, Con Artist, maybe Faithful Drake if you really wanted like some more item shenanigans, or Gorgon. But it's mostly going to be a choice either between Gorgon or Con Artist, depending on what's going on with the meta. But anyways, that's a lot of talk about this one little flex slot here. Let's get into more about what the deck's actually about here. So I don't run any of the cheap tomb payoffs. I've even skipped Z-Think and Corpse Explosion for a couple reasons. So first of all, we really don't want to be flooding Joan-Vive's pool with zombies. While Grave Knight will still do that, Grave Knight we can at least put off playing. Ideally, you want to play your Joan-Vive before a Grave Knight, but sometimes it just depends how the game rolls out. And then the other reason I'm light on the tomb payoffs is because Dwarf Paladin has a pretty high chance of actually giving you additional Grave Knights. So this deck has more, I'd say on average, at least a third Grave Knight in its list here. So that's quite a few tomb payoffs. 5, 10, 15, 18 tombs on average probably worth of tomb payoffs here. Not to mention just using tombs defensively. So between not wanting to pollute Joan-Vive's pool and the deck kind of having slightly more tomb payoffs than it may appear, we opt out of all of the cheaper ones. Even Z-Think, who's usually just a major staple for me, but I've just been trying to keep the Joan-Vive pool in mind here. Speaking of Joan Vive and crew, Baptism of Fire is a way to, get another big play out of the deck. Of course, you can use it defensively to kill an enemy unit when you need to, which is perfectly valid, but the primary reason I'm running this is to play extra Joan Vives, since you can indeed target your own units. Of course, Witch Doctor and Grave Knights are also pretty solid targets for getting some extra big late game plays. Beyond that, the deck is just packed with control, lots of madness here to slow down your opponent and double his removal. We've got Dispel and Healing, both of which, these are both great anti-aggro, anti-burn, but they also double as answers when you need them. We've got a fairly high curve with, a little bit of card advantage, but we don't have a lot, just mostly because of our curve is so high. I've skipped anything else on the high end, like Swordsman, who's a very good pick oftentimes for Crusaders, and just to make sure Bamothra can pull Joan Vive reliably, since again, the goal is to try and play her early on before you start playing your Grave Knights. But, it just kind of depends how it works out. Of course, End of Days is a staple for true and proper control decks, and, then Screams is how we win the majority of games. Oftentimes we can just win with Joan Vive and Grave Knights, but, Screams is still going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, as it usually does, and, that's another reason we're running Dracula, who's a pretty decent card in this meta where Burn's so prevalent, and more importantly gives you a safe turn to play Screams. Of course, we've got the Witch Doctor Sacrificial Knife combos as well, and Salahar Rider is, the only really cheap unit I play, just because it's kind of the best anti-aggro tool I have. It kills rats and things like that, so we didn't want to leave ourselves completely defenseless in the early game, so between Rider and Curse, we tend to do alright. I think that's enough chatting about the deck, or, maybe we'll chat about it more in a moment here, but let's at least go get the queue going here so that we can hopefully get a game by the time I finish ranting on and on here. So I think I already covered the list pretty well, but let's just take a look, see if there's any slot choices we haven't talked about yet while we're waiting for a game. And then we'll either go spectate, or maybe we'll just play an AI game while we're waiting here. Norabon's in here just because he's incredibly powerful and kind of a natural pick for any tomb list for the most part, barring some strange fringe aggro variants. Dwarf Paladin, the idea giving us extra Grave Knights and also giving us a little touch of AoE. I think we did talk about every single card in the list. So there's really nothing more to go over here other than once we get into game. So we've got a decent sized lobby going on here, but we've got a couple folks spectating, and Matt, I think, is AFK here, but yeah, so let's just go grab an AI game while we're waiting so you all can get just kind of the feel for the list here. Alright, much too early for Grave Knight. Reaper's perfect because, again, this deck has very few early game plays, so that's what we want to see. Sacrificial Knife is good, but, really I'm looking for more of my early game control. Sacrificial Knife, we want to kind of be waiting till the mid to late game with Witch Doctors. Okay, this is pretty solid open here. We've got Reaper, Peasant, Reaper, Paladin. Nice little curve going on there. Obviously, these are what we want to be seeing so early. So Angel of War, I really wanted to fit her in this deck because she's yet another way you could get even more Grave Knights, and I was very tempted. I looked and looked and looked for a spot that I could put her in here. Just because A, she's a good card, B, she helps against getting milled out, and C, again, more Grave Knights, and that's kind of what the deck's all about. I named the deck Death Knight, after all. It's kind of very centered around Grave Knight and Joan Vive. But I opted out just because mostly I couldn't find room, and is the main reason. The second reason is the deck's kind of high on the curve already, and adding another big late game play like that would leave me more vulnerable to aggressive lists, and I really don't like losing to aggro, so I was trying to find a balance there. And then the third reason is, I played a good number of games, and 3 Grave Knights and Norabon tends to use up most of the tombs you're going to generate in any given match. The only times that they don't are games you're probably crushing anyways. So I did end up leaving Angel of War out, but it's the card that I might consider, in shifting metas. Like if we shifted to a meta where we weren't really seeing any burn or aggro, and it was all about trying to beat other late game decks, that's when I might add her in. But for now, I've left her out. And again, there's one more reason I left her out, because if you play her, kind of on curve there, then that kind of lowers your chance of finding the Joan Vive earlier on, and she might pollute that pool. One of my first versions of this list was running it in a little bit more of a dedicated knight shell, but the other knights like Paladin and Dragon Knight, while incredibly good cards, they're just pair really badly with Joan Vive, so I kind of retooled it to work more like this. So yeah, Angel of War is a great pick. I strongly considered it. I wanted to fit it, but I've left it out for now. Anyways, back to talking about the game here. So peasants again have that secret mechanic where they won't get revived by things like Joan Vive unless there are no other options. So while in another list, maybe opening with the Zalahar Rider would have been better, I'm avoiding playing the Zalahar Rider here unless my opponent forces me to by putting on the pressure. So that's kind of where we're at here. Probably a good turn for Con Artist. I could do the Reaper, but the Reaper kind of dies to the Rider here. I'm going to trade the Peasant in. Not because it's a good trade or anything, but because the Peasant's going to die regardless if the Rider dies, and I don't want him to turn around and play an AoE. So the reason I played this in the center rather than one of the more aggressive positions here is, I'm not going to reach the trading post regardless right now, because he's got a Guardian. And if I played it here, he could potentially play a Guardian below the castle, and then the Con Artist would be out of reach. So, there's a good reason to play a unit in any of these 3 spots. But in this situation, he's already got 1 Guardian out, so I want to play it where I can threaten the most things, especially since he isn't, threatening me. So I don't need to worry about blocking anything, and I wanted to just keep my options open so I didn't get stuck in an awkward position where Con Artist couldn't do very much. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and trade. I'm going to take this square here to leave a tomb in, just because that's the square, that's most commonly played to threaten our trading post, but I'm going to opt out of that. So similarly, again, because we're running into Guardians here, well, actually in this situation, no, we're still going to just go run it down the center here. Oh my. Well, so you don't see legendaries pop up often, but they do sometimes. And well, I suppose we're going to take a Joan Vive over a Grave Knight, because oh boy, that's just kind of a, I guess we've won this game. I mean, we're going to win versus AI regardless, but that's the only card you're going to pick over a Grave Knight if you are offered it. Lava Font. Well, the AI is being very dumb, but, well, actually, I guess not too dumb, because he did block off my own attack routes here, and he's going to clean off that tomb. So, well, the AI actually made a pretty solid move there. Yeah, there's really no reason for me to trade into this Lava Font right now, as obnoxious as it may be. I'm going to hold out for the moment here. So I do want to kill that Lava Font, because Lava Fonts can really mess up your tomb plan long term here. Still need to decide between Paladin, a cleaner play with a Reaper and a Peasant, or a Paladin. I'm going to go for the Paladin just because he can potentially guard this Lava Font, so I want to be sure that I can kill that Lava Font next turn. So I'm going to come up here, so where I can threaten both of those. Okay, so in this situation we're probably going to take the Frog Prince just because, later on we are going to be spawning a bunch of zombies. Well, AI doing silly eye things. So I could go ahead. Yeah, I'm probably going to go after this little Ply Depot. I could take out this Lava Font, though, which is tempting. But I think we're going to hold our ground for the moment. We're up against Warlocks, though. If this was a competent player, we need to be very concerned about AoE. So with that in mind, we are going to go ahead and trade in this Paladin here. It's a terrible, terrible trade, but, better to start getting some work done on this Lava Font now than... Should have noticed that he played a trap, but I didn't. But yeah, better to get some work done on this Lava Font now than to just lose my whole board to a blaze here. Now I'm in a... Do I want to play the Rider so I can clean up the Lava Font, or do I want to play a Peasant? I think we're going to go for the Rider, just... Well, then again, we're still leaving ourselves open to a blaze if we do that. We really don't need to be in a rush to kill this Lava Font, so Peasant gameplay it is. If we wait long enough, End of Days will clean it up. Yeah, Lava Font's actually a pretty good card. I run it in my yellow-red Joan Vive list because, it's a great way to have a strong early game without messing up your Joan Vives. So yeah, I think we're just going to work on getting rid of this Lava Font here, just because there's no real safe way to bring the Peasants in anyways, so... I keep just not noticing those traps pop up. That happens to me in live games too. I just don't notice them. I think Font's made them plenty visible. I'm a notoriously distracted player on stream, so I'm even less likely to see them pop up here. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a match yet. We were in like a 5 or 6 person lobby there, but it is what it is. It's tempting to play a Grave Knight here, but I really don't want to pollute that Joan Vive pool yet, so I think we're just going to pull out a Dracula, which will also give us a clean answer to that Lava Font in a moment here. Well, the Peasant's basically guaranteed to survive as well. I usually like to hold off on the Dracula for a little while so I can spawn a few more Peasants for Screams, but this is fine. Like, we don't have another good play. Dracula's pretty solid right now, so that's what we're going to do. And because, we really want to play this Joan Vive before we play these Grave Knights. So, our Joan Vive pool isn't crazy. We didn't get any Witch Doctors in there, but, that's okay. Right now, it's better to play her now than later, simply because we don't want to be playing her after we've thrown a bunch of zombies in the pool. And we've got the very nifty Baptism trick, so ideally, we're going to be playing her a couple times here. Ooh, this is a pretty nice spawn. We got the Paladin with the Cleave. And the Frog Prince buff. Yeah, this is very nice. This is a little bit of a tricky situation, but I think what we're going to do, it's not a clean trade, but we're going to take it. We're going to take it. Just going to clean up this board, and hopefully he'll give us. Well, I suppose he doesn't actually need to give us anything. We can bring Joan Vive down to 4 health ourselves if we need to for this Baptism play. But however, this is an extra Joan Vive. It's not even our real one. So yeah, I think we're going to take advantage of this Joan Vive situation here and just stick her back in our hand for another big play. I think I'm going to play a Witch Doctor here, not because it's like actually a good idea or, you know, gives us any kind of value, but it's nice to have a Witch Doctor in the Joan Vive pool, so that's what we're going to do. We might be just playing another Joan Vive again, just because, again, we really want to hold off on Grave Knights. Of course, we also might just be winning right here, unless we get an unlucky... Okay, well, I guess all of our strategizing is for naught, but that's to be expected against, you know, an AI game. Let's see what's going on in this lobby. Where are all my matches? Everyone's avoiding me playing with each other. But, you know, that happens. Maybe we can get a challenge in here. I think you were watching us. You were hanging out Ultraviolet, so maybe you're up for a game just for the sake of the stream here. Oh, well, we can just do a friendly match. That's just fine. Okay, so we're up against another of the very powerful Joan Vive lists here, the green-yellow one, which is probably the stronger deck slightly, just having better AoE tools and draw and access to things like Robins and Leviathan, but I believe I'm favored in the matchup simply because this deck doesn't have a great... It's not a big... excuse me. It's very... You know, it tends to be pretty slow as well, and it's a control list that can suffer a little bit against screams. So if you're teching like War Elephants, you know, you may have a good chance here, but if you're not running War Elephants, that may be kind of a really rough match here. Okay, so again, we're not going to play this rider simply because we don't want to be polluting our pool if we don't need to, and we might need that defense later. We're probably in for a pretty long haul here. We're both playing, you know, Joan Vive control lists, so we might be at this for a while, but that's okay. I like a good long game. It may not be everyone's cup of tea here, but that's okay. So we're going to play the rider here just because it'll be a clean trade on this con artist. Speaking of which, I probably need to go and try to find room for some elephants in my green Joan Vive deck, because of this matchup very specifically. Well, a little bit of an awkward hand right now, but that's okay. He's not really putting the pressure on, so we can just do peasant gameplay until he forces our hand into something else. It's much better to conserve your resources until your opponent makes you play something. Like, well, I certainly could have played Drain Life here. You know, I'd be losing out on that heal value. Not that we're too worried about getting burned down from these colors, but, you know, we didn't need to play it, so we didn't. I think we're going to go for the Witch Doctor knife play here. Well, it's not as clean of a trade as I'd like. Mostly we're playing it just for the draw right now. And, you know, this gives us a blockade against that 1 point of damage. No. Well, again, we don't need to be nearly as cautious as I probably am in this matchup when it comes to like our castle health. It's a good habit to be in, and you know, it may end up mattering. You know, if he manages to stick a Leviathan in the late game and I let him chip away at me early on, that could really hurt. Okay, so I think Dwarf Paladin is our play here. I'm going to backline it just so it can help with that tomb blockade here. None of the options we really want to see. You know, none of the legends, no Grave Knight. It's a bit of a tough choice between Paladin and Frog Prince. Now, Paladin's a very powerful card, but it's a bad revive for Joanvive. But in this matchup, you know, we're not worried about Maldrin or anything like that, so I think we're going to go for the Frog Prince just to have a little bit of extra synergy with our cleave and zombies later on. He got a pretty clean Righteous Paladin play there. Now I've got an interesting choice to make. So I could do the Dracula, although again it feels a little early for that. But it's the most efficient play I have in my hand. So I think that's probably what we're going to go for here. Just, you know, we're losing out on some peasant value, but that's okay. Best to get that prepped while we have an opportunity, because there are times in the late game where he is going to be applying too much pressure for us to play Dracula safely, and we really don't want to have to play Dracula and then spin the teleport right away, because we want to save that teleport for the, you know, the Scream's turn. Okay, so again, a little bit of an awkward position here, but I think our best play is probably just the Witch Doctor and the castle here and just conserving the rest of our cards. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. It's nice to have Witch Doctors in the Joanvive pool, and there's nothing else we really want to play right now. Placing him up here because I don't want to blockade my own summoning spots here, and I want to threaten that trading post. And we could conserve some health by killing one of these, but I want to... Well, I guess we're really not concerned about the Paladin once it gets nerfed down by Witch Doctor either way. So I've got some odd choices here. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start chipping away at this trading post. Just because Witch Doctor is going to clean pretty much all of this up. And we don't have great ways to threaten the trading post because we're not even running Corpse Explosion in this list, so if I can snag one of his big cards here, I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. And now we have a nice clean option. Ooh, Kraken. That's going to be kind of nasty. But, you know, we've hit the late game. We're not going to mind. We should be able to answer that one way or another. Hopefully not with End of Days, but we'll see what happens here. So, hand's a little awkward, but we're just going to throw some stuff out here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that's kind of just our best options right now. It's all going to get yoinked by the Kraken anyways, so our positioning isn't too important. But I'm just going to keep whittling away at that supply depot. Because my positioning mattered a little bit here. The Kraken, how the Kraken pulls still is a little complicated. I'm pretty sure I understand it, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, dang. We lost our clean trade there. Boy, we were both just con artisting it up here. Alright, so how do we want to address this? Like, we really don't want to spend this. This is no longer... Well, okay, actually we do have a fairly clean trade here. We just have to trade the prince, chip away, get our health back. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any other play at all because Con Artist is messing us up, filling our hand with some garbage here, but that's okay. We at least dealt with the major threat, got our health back. Sure, we're going to lose a little bit of health here to the Con Artist, but again, we're not really worried about a little bit of health in this matchup. You know, my other play would have been the Dark Mirror, but it just didn't feel like a good value. There was too strong of a chance that, like, it just wouldn't have accomplished much. Con Artist just really filling us with junk. This might be a good turn for this Dark Mirror here. You know, it's not great, but it's not bad. And it's so expensive that, yeah, let's just go ahead and do that to buy ourselves some little bit of time here. Hopefully, what we're hoping for is, well, actually, it doesn't matter. Like, result doesn't matter. Ideally, both of these die, but there wasn't a way for that to actually happen, so ideally we would have liked the Paladin to go down as well, but this is fine. The Paladin is a non-issue, it's not a threat. It's just kind of a tomb banked for later here. He's being very cautious and going after my tombstones there, which is the smart play. You never want to leave tomb decks the opportunity. Let's see. Well, yeah, I think Dark Mirror is just my best play again. A little awkward, but it's what we have to work with. So, just kicking up the stall game here. All right. Well, hopefully this time the Paladin will die, but we'll see. And we'll just keep working on that supply depot. And his Con Artist has been doing it. Paladin survives yet again. But hey, at least the angel ran away. Oof, he got storm weapons. That's one of the rougher items for Con Artist to stick in your deck, but he's putting it to good use cleaning out my tombs here. Harker making a bunch of our hand just straight up unplayable here, but alas, it happens. Okay, well, how do we want to handle this? This is probably our next turn play. We're going to lose some health this turn, but can't be helped. Well, actually, let's see what his trading post is going to give to us. Hey, I'll take it. That's pretty good. It's a little risky, because I've got my Screams. If I lose Genevieve, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Besides, he's polluted my deck with a bunch of items, so it's worth the risk. I didn't mean to move from that far forward. I don't like blockading my opponent's place. I prefer blockading his summon spots, but oh well, it's fine. Gonna clean up our tombs here. Well, it depends. We'll see what happens here. Like, losing tombs now isn't that big a deal simply because, you know, we're trying to hold off for Genevieve regardless. I think this is another Yeah, just another. Shame we didn't snag the Frog Prince in there, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's see, what's the worst possible result here? Where do I want to send my castle proc at? I could alternatively just blow my treasure now. That is also an option. But no, because he's probably got some crappy item regardless. Definitely want to use Dracula's castle. I just don't know what I want to target. I could target the Frog Prince, but there's such a strong chance that it dies to the Angel of War that I think we're just going to go for a little bit of face damage here. I don't know if I need to be worried about that library. Did he play that library, or did he get it off of the dwarf spell? I think he got it off of the dwarf spell, which means he's not actually doing discard shenanigans. But you do always need to be wary of Vile Wrath, especially since... Okay, yep. Alright, so the Frog Prince... Okay, that's almost perfect. Oh, interesting. We still lost the tombs to the Dwarf Paladin, but at least we got the Angel and the Frog Prince out of the way here. A little bit of a shame that the Paladin survived, but, you know, the most important thing of the Frog Prince and the Angel taking each other out happened, so we'll take it. Yes, I'm excited for mobile myself. Thanks for stopping by. Dab here. I think it will be soon. You know, no official announcements, no dates, but soon I am expecting it. Okay, well, we're in a bit of an awkward spot right now. You know, it really doesn't feel good to play this against just a single threat like that. We could potentially just stall, do a little tomb blockade shenanigans here. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and kill this paladin with one of these crappy items here. And then we're just going to stall blockade with the body plus tomb block against that Leviathan. And it's possible he could push the Leviathan through, because, you know, especially because he's got the Dracula's castle, so he very well could just burn away the Reaper and then castle the tomb. So this is a little bit of a risky play, but I didn't want to, you know, waste our Dracula castle teleport or something like that right now. So we're going to risk taking a little bit of face damage, because again, in this matchup, you know, we can afford taking a little bit of face damage. We can use our health as more of a resource, because we're just not too worried about. Okay, yep. And I am indeed getting punished, taking that big 10 damage to the face, which definitely hurts here. And, you know, my choices now are I can waste my Dracula Castle teleport, or I can do this End of Days that I really didn't want to play. I'm guessing he's probably stream sniping me, so he knows that I'm indeed was trying very hard to bait him into playing something else. But he sees my hand, he sees I'm just loaded with his con artist junk, and he's capitalizing on that little opportunity I gave him. But I don't think I can afford another 10 damage to face, so I guess we're just gonna have to go for the End of Days play. Doesn't feel great, but it is what it is. And we have enough gold left over to go ahead and con artist. Con artist, yeah, they mess up Leviathan decks, they mess up the item abuse decks, so not a card I actually like, but it's really good for what's running around in the meta right now anyways. Gotta take advantage of the items we're being given here. He's definitely in a better position than I am right now, just because we know he's going to start playing a lot of Leviathan soon. We've had to spend a lot of our madness, and even in, ooh, he's stolen it. He stole a Grave Knight, or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe he didn't steal it, maybe he generated it off of his paladin, but either way, that always makes these matchups really rough. But we have a very well-timed Joan Vive showing up here. I need to be careful how I play her, though, because there's no guarantee we can kill the Grave Knight. And I don't want him being able to steal her with his own Baptism of Fire, so we're going to go for just an ultra defensive Joan Vive here, because I don't want to lose her too. Well, very nice little play there. Maybe I should have tried to preserve my health a little bit more. I really didn't want to open myself up to him getting a free Joan Vive steal here. Actually, I've made a mistake. I forgot that he had Dracula's Castle. If he wants to steal Joan Vive, he can do it regardless. So I really should have just played her much more aggressive to preserve my health. Turnabout's fair play here. Yeah, I really should not have given up my castle health like I just did there, but as usual, I'm a notoriously bad player when I'm on stream. I make, between trying to chat with you guys and explain what I'm doing, I make a lot of sloppy plays like that that I don't usually make when I'm not streaming. But that's okay, this is all in good fun. You know, this isn't even a ranked game, so there's nothing on the line. We're just having fun, hanging out, exploring the deck, how it works. And, you know, it's kind of nice seeing me play it a little sloppier, because then you can see how somebody that's not used to piloting it might do, and how forgiving the deck can be. Because, you know, even making the mistakes that I am and just giving up health that I really didn't need to, you know, we're still doing okay, just because Screams gives us so much of an inevitability and insurance. Although our health is getting uncomfortably low here. And we're going to play the Dwarf Paladin, and we want to see either another Grave Knight or another Joan Vive. Our first one kind of let us down with the Frog Prince. Will this one average us out? Nope. Sadly, we are not going to get our average third Grave Knight this match. But that's okay. We can snag a little healing to help make up for our lost health here. Let's see. I think we're going to spread out our... It's nice giving cleave buffs regardless, and this way, you know, if he is running any heart removal, you know, we're not all eggs in one basket with the Grave Knight here. This also brings him out of Man the Cannon's range, so feels like the right play to make. Probably should have played Paladin in the center just to give him more scope with his cleave, but again, playing a little sloppy. Well, there's second End of Days, so at least we don't need to worry about that anymore. Just going to play very conservatively here. I'm running a little low on resources, but so is he. But yeah, we want to preserve this Guardian just in case we need to stall for a turn against another Leviathan or something like that. He is officially at the Leviathan danger zone here. Oh, there goes my baptism, so now I won't be able to steal his Joan Vive. Shame. Well, let's just go ahead and turtle up here. play the Rider a little more defensively so I can hopefully get more value out of his AoE effect on some of his units there. Of course, Man the Cannons is going to mess us up pretty bad if he has that. And, you know, me giving up that extra... Yep, there's the Man the Cannons. Kind of saw that coming, but... Yeah, we're definitely getting punished for giving up so much free health, but that's okay. It's a tough choice here between, you know, trying to clean these up now, but I think we're just going to go for the Guardian play. It's just safe. Hey, there we go. Another nice little pull there. Besides, this, you know, we want to try and get maximum value out of these anyways, so we're playing it a little risky with our health this game. I've made some mistakes on that regard, but, you know, that's okay. We've still got enough health. We still have some healing in the deck. And we just need to bide our time and let the screams build up. And since he just played this Resourceful Privateer, that trap could be anything. And hey, I noticed a trap being played. I almost always miss it. Hurts. Yeah, my health is now getting real dangerously low. I really should not have given up so much free health. This is a tough choice here. So if I play the Grave Knight, like, it's pretty good value. But I do just straight up lose if he has an answer to this Grave Knight. So with that in mind, we're not going to take that risk. Ooh, a transcribed Dark Mirror. That's nasty. Because I believe that's now just a 1-cost Dark Mirror, despite that, you know, it was 9 cost for me. I'm pretty sure the one he got's just 1 cost, but I'm not entirely sure, actually. Maybe he can let us know. So, yeah, we're definitely being punished for our greedy Joan Vive play. Okay, I thought it would cost 1, despite that it was the Con Artist Mirror, but I wasn't entirely— Oh no! He played his own Grave Knight! Oh, a second Grave Knight from him. Brutal. Yeah, I may be losing this game just for giving up that health that I shouldn't have. Oh, yep, he got 2 Grave Knights in this match. Brutal. Brutal. It's really too early for Screams. That is kind of our only way we're going to win this matchup, so I need to hold on to it. And I may be losing here just for some of my early sloppy plays, but let me think here. You know, we could play the Dark Mirror, or, well, yeah, we could play the Dark Mirror, or we could play the Grave Knight. But again, the risk with the Grave Knight here is if he has an answer to it, I just lose. And let's see, what are ways he could answer? He could play Joan Vive. Time is running out. Well, I'm doing the foolish play here. Well, the safe play would have probably been to do the Dark Mirror and the teleport, but ran out of time. Figured let's just play it a little risky here. And you know, we're in such a bad position due to some of my earlier mistakes right now that we need to try and take some high risk, high reward plays. Oh, okay, well, and there's the punish, so This game was definitely winnable, but I made some very grave errors, but mostly, my opponent getting 2 Grave Knights in the mirror right when I'm, avoiding playing mine to wait for the right opportunity. Yeah, running into Grave Knights in the mirror is brutal. That's usually the only way you'll lose this matchup aside from making some mistakes, and in this case it was both. If I hadn't made my mistakes, I think I would have been okay, but you know, I made some mistakes and he got the double Grave Knight in the mirror here. No, because my Grave Knight's Tombstone would have blocked his Grave Knight's advance on my castle. So even if he did trade the Grave Knights, oh, actually you're right, because he could have done these 4 zombies, then that zombie would have cleared the tomb, and yeah, never mind. He had it either way, so yeah. Plus Dracula's castle and or the buffed Grave Knight. He had it regardless. I really did need to just do the safe play, but I was too busy yakking to notice it, and the timer crept up on me, so I made the silly play. All right, let's get a matchup there. Another match here. Hopefully I can, if he's up for a rematch anyways, hopefully I can play that a little better. Either I won't run into as many RNG Grave Knights. He got 2 Grave Knights and I got none off of my Paladins. That was kind of rough. But again, mostly that came down to some of my early mistakes. It's definitely too early for end of days. Reaper, we like seeing this early. It's a big question mark whether I want to keep the Baptism or not. It is pretty good in this matchup, so we're going to hang on to it. So our hand's looking all right. We've got some early game. We've got a card that's kind of important in this matchup. All right, now we're both starting this con artist shenanigans again. Oh, very nice. Okay, I've got her early, which is very nice because that way I can almost definitely play her before this Grave Knight, which is what we're going for. Yeah, right. Yeah, him getting that Dracula's Castle did a lot of work too. Just his ability to, snipe the tombs that I was using to block. That matchup was just all kinds of unfortunate on the RNG side. But again, RNG aside, I think it was winnable if I'd played better. A little bit of a tricky position here. Like, is it worth using the knife on just one of these peasants? Probably not. But if I wait until post-Dracula, sometimes it can be hard to use the knife. But that's okay. We have doctors. That's what the knife is here for. We're going to try to save the knife for the doctor like we're supposed to. We're both just doing some peasant gameplay here. Alright, will the Dwarf Paladins be kind to us this match? Last match, they did not like me and did like him. So let's see what happens. Or I guess he didn't get it from his Paladins. He got it from the Angel of War, which is a card that I would really love to fit in here. And again, if I was expecting more of this kind of a mirror, I would be running them. But right now I'm expecting way more, nasty ninja burn shenanigans. So no Grave Knight or Joan Vive, but this is kind of our third choice. So we'll take it. Nice clean Paladin play there. I do not have a great turn options, but that's okay. We'll just block with our Frog Prince with his potential Tombstone and do some more peasant gameplay here. Yeah, those con artists have been messing me up, but, I will be returning the favor. Pterodactyl. Solid. Solid response there. Okay, so got some choices to make. I think I might just go for the Shadow Katana. It's a little weird, but like, it'll get the job done. Now, do I go for the face damage, or do I just take the clean trades? I think we're just going to take the clean trades because, again, all we have to do is bide our time. This is a control deck. We don't need to be rushing. We just need to give it time for Screams to do its thing. And if we just do clean plays and clean trades, we win the long game. If we're patient enough. Given, he could be running elephants, and elephants could really keep this game pretty even. But either way, we're just going to be patient. So this is an awkward position. We really want to play the Joan-Vive before the Grave Knights, but has he played anything that could give him access to a Grave Knight? Okay, he has not. But we really don't have another good play, so it's not really what we want to be doing, but it's what we're going to do. And besides, if we're lucky, he won't have the Man the Cannons answer, and you know, then we'll still get to play our Joan-Vive before these zombies die. So not ideal, but I think it's better to go for this, you know, big threat right now than it is to just kind of a do-nothing turn. Well, no, maybe I should have played the Dracula and played it safe and just, you know, followed my own advice of play the Joan-Vive before the Grave Knight. Yeah, okay, that would have been the better play. I should have just played the Dracula, played it safe, but here I am getting distracted and making sloppy plays again. But that's okay. It's all in good fun. It's always good to practice. Rather be making those mistakes here on stream, where I at least have the excuse of streaming, than I would, you know, in the ladder or a tournament or something along those lines. Oh hey, looks like we are not going to get the... Well, okay, we still may yet get punished, but we'll see what happens here. Because, you know, I can't play the Joan-Vive this turn because of the Harker. First things first, let's see what we can steal from his trading post here. Ooh, that was a very nice steal. That may secure the game. RNG was kind to him last game, but it's my friend this game. So do I want to pollute my pool and clean up this Harker? Well, I think, well, no matter what, the zombie's going to come here and trade up this peasant. And no matter what, we're moving these zombies forward. It's then just a question of, are we polluting our Joan-Vive pool and cleaning up the Harker? I think we're going to, just because, you know, better to get this value now than just get hard punished by Man the Cannons next turn. A little early for Dracula, but, you know, it's the most efficient play we have. And again, Baptism Harker could be good, but Baptism Joan-Vive is much better. So we're going to hang on to Baptism for now. Baptism we really want to save for either our Joan-Vive, our Grave Knight, or our Witch Doctor. And in this case, we're counting on the Joan-Vives this game. Yeah, I talked about that at length at the opening of the video in the showcase, but you weren't around for that. But yeah, that's one of the deck's big tricks is, you know, multiple Joan-Vive, multiple Grave Knight, multiple Witch Doctor, you know, in that order of priority. But yeah, no, you want to be trying to save those for your Joan-Vives when you can. Obviously, you can use it offensively when you need to, but primarily this is an extra Joan-Vive. Okay. He's getting the Dracula steal again, which served him really well last game. Hmm. That Harker. That Harker. It feel Yeah, okay. No Harker value. No extra Joan Vives, no extra Grave Knights for him. Ooh, I will take a Harker. A Harker I will gladly take. Okay, and it's a nice little con artist turn here. Harker is such a nasty, broken card. I still think he's way too good. The RNG in this match has favored us really well. Multiple Joan Vives, a Robbins. This one's gonna be our game. Most likely. Like, I could mess it up, and he is playing a very, very strong deck, and he's a very competent player, so this could turn around on me. But we'll see what happens here. Could go for my own Joan Vive. I think we're going to do it. Oh, he got the pirate. He got the pirate off of the Joan Vive. So rude. With that in mind, no, that needs to die now. And while again we are really messing up our Joan Vive pools with these Grave Knight plays, that's okay. I think it's better to go for that. It's better to mess up our pool here than it is just to do a really inefficient turn or give him the opportunity to play a response Grave Knight. So that's what we're going to do. And so now we're going to kind of do the opposite. So normally the deck wants to rush, play Joan Vive right away so that you can play the Grave Knight safely. Now we're going to wait. We're going to wait to play our Joan Vive as long as possible so that we can now flood it with other options from zombies. And not Joan Vive is either very early or very late. You really don't want to play her in the middle there. No, he went for the end of days. This is a pretty valid response. I'm glad he didn't manage to, sneak up and steal his own Joan Vive with his own baptism play, so that works for me. And now I am very happy to play the Harker I stole from him, and we'll go ahead and throw a cleave. Hey, there we go. We even got our preferred target this time. Okay, so the RNG is just heavily in our favor this match, whereas last match it heavily favored him. Now, I don't think there's much he can do to beat me this game. Me getting double Joan Vives, a stolen Robin. I keep saying he's Harker. A stolen Robins, double Joan Vive, a stolen Robins, and an extra Grave Knight. Plus, he did not get the opportunity to, steal my tombs with his own Grave Knight. I don't think there's much he can do in this matchup. This game, last game went a lot better for him, but I did also make some mistakes. And Harker can just, not Harker, Robbins, I keep saying Harker. Robbins can just farm tombs for value here. So let's see what we get here. A Sea Witch, okay. Guess we're gonna play some Kraken shenanigans ourselves here. What to do... it's not a clean trade, but we may go for it anyways. We could do Curse, but we kind of want to save that for... Alright, let's play the Sea Witch, see what that offers us, and then we'll make some decisions. Okay, yep, Leviathan. Yep, we'll play the same Leviathan game he is. Yeah, no, I think we'll go for the Madness. It's not great, but it'll get the job done. And now we're just gonna farm up with the Dread Pirate Robins. I do need to clean out my hand a little bit here. I don't usually like playing the Rider without a reason to, but right now just simply not letting him fill my hand with, you know, a charged unit on the Robins and then overdrawing. He's digging. I'm surprised he baptismed the Rider over the Dread Pirate there. It was a cleaner trade for him. You know, he got more value out of my immediate board here. But he also lost some opportunity there. Interesting. I could potentially snipe it with the Genevieve, which would then in turn... Well, these are both going to die either way. With that in mind, let's go ahead and sacrifice her, because she's not going to get to do anything regardless. I don't really want to do the Grave Knight play, because he could... Daggerstorm and Rider together will just punish that pretty hard. So... a little awkward here, but... man, we just don't have a good play right now. We could do the Drain Life, which is pretty clean. Not ideal, but I think that's what we're going to do. And since we're not worried about burn in this matchup, we can afford to lose some healing from that Drain Life. And even if he does turn around and play his own Grave Knight, we've got a pretty clean answer to it. I think this game's kind of been decided from the moment I got a second Genevieve. Do I play the Grave Knight and pollute the Genevieve pool? I think we do. Just 'cause it's too good of a play not to take. Like why? We're taking the Grave Knight. Like, it's too good not to take. Do I keep the burn up or do I kill the peasant? Is the peasant going to do anything meaningful if I leave it alive? No, not really. So let's just keep pushing. Oh, well, the peasant did end up doing a little bit of something there. Bit of awkward moment here, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to clear the Dracula, do a clean trade here with the castle cleanup, and then we'll play the Bomothra. We're going to leave the zombie right here because that gives us kind of a guaranteed path for the Grave Knight to come in and hit that castle. I may not even need to play my Joan Vives this game. Just, boy, the RNG has been kind to me. I really like my more dedicated knight setup with Lucian and crew, but I still play that in quite a few of my other variations. Like I love it in like the red yellow. I love red yellow knights. They're very good. All right, well, we're definitely taking the clean trade there. And we're definitely coming in here. I think Norbon's a pretty clear case here. Do I trade into the Paladin? I think so. Well, maybe not. Maybe we just pull back for the Guardian. Because if I trade, then I open myself up to man the cannons. So, with that in mind, let's actually just capitalize on our Guardians plus Tombstone block there, just in case. I'm, again, being a little overly cautious here, but that's okay. It might be worthwhile to sacrifice this Frostlich so it doesn't just get dispelled. With that being said, since I didn't trade, he now doesn't have a way to ease... Well, he could kill the Paladin with... Or he could kill his Lucian with Castle, but, you know, if he does that, I'll take it. If I force him to spend a Dracula Castle proc on killing his own Lucian, you know, that's a win for me. Yeah, so the castle will teleport back, and then it will just move the unit to the side. And it is looking like I am not even going to need my Joan Vives. When I don't run into multiple Grave Knights, the matchup's usually... Speaking of running into enemy Grave Knights. Funny. I deserved that. This is fine. We have a very clean answer to that. Or we did. No, right. I didn't draw that Witch Doctor. It got burned. But that's okay, because I drew another Witch Doctor. So, all is well. And we'll just take the Dispel for the win here. Now, we had two Joan Vives, so we didn't even need to play them. Kind of a shame. Well, that was, we got two good matches there. One the RNG favored him, one the RNG favored me. Would have been nice to have more of like an even game, but that's okay. We had a good time. I appreciate him, you know, playing and giving me a rematch there. Do you want a round 3 there, or shall we try to find some different opponents? I don't know if he's actually listening. I think I will kick on the queue and the lobby match, you know, while we're waiting on his decision there. Oh, what do we pick up from the pass? Ooh, box art. Love me some box art. Okay, he's up for the tiebreaker here. Okay, too early for the mirror. I won't usually keep one of these, but if I have both of them, I'll keep them. Mirror, Moon, Moon is... Yeah, we're going to keep the Moon, though, just in case he gets a lot of early game push. That will help give us some breathing room. So not the usual, like, perfect curve that we like seeing, but, you know, that's okay. We've got a pretty good setup here. Alright, so which one of us is going to get the most Grave Knights this match? We're both naturally opening with the Peasant gameplay. Joan V versus Joan V sees a lot of Peasant gameplay since they both tend to skimp on their early curve, although, you know, the Gorilla 2-drop package has been pretty common lately, so you haven't been seeing too much Peasant gameplay these days. Get in. Again, going for that body plus tombstone block there. Okay, we're both doing obnoxious con artist things. Alright, can we get the Grave Knight or the Joan Vive? This play right here can decide this game pretty early. Okay, I'll take it, I'll take it. We need to be very mindful of whether he's played Paladins or Angels, because the moment he does that or kills our trading post, we have to stop being stingy with the Grave Knight and hoping for, you know, the Joan Vive first, because as we've seen, if I give him the opportunity to steal my tombs with the Grave Knight, he absolutely will, as he should. Alright, we've got a nice little madness play here. Is it worth... I think it's worth spending my metal here just because 3 gold's a lot of gold to leave unspent. So let's get some threats continuing here. Okay, well, at least we got our third choice. It's not Joan Vive, it's not a Grave Knight, but a Frog Prince is pretty solid. Of course, now that he's got some contraband too, we need to be... There's always the possibility he's picked up some tomb shenanigans there, but that one I'm a little more willing to risk. I think we've got a pretty nice answer. Okay, very nice answer to his field here. Gonna go for the defensive tomb position here. Get a very nice little field clear there, leaving that alive, but that's okay, because this actually kind of works against him. If he does get some early zombies off of that, you know, that's just going to mess up his late game Joan Vives. Yeah, we're probably going to go for the early Grave Knight here. Just, well, we'll see. We'll see what our hand looks like. We'll see what his hand looks like. If we have no risk of an enemy Grave Knight, we may bide our time. We'll see here. I think we'll play the Essence, because there's nothing else we really want to play right now, and this is such an awkward thing to weave into a turn. Okay, well, we hit something. Don't know what, but something. Let's see here. Do I want to do just Peasant gameplay, or do I want a Rider? I think we're going to do the Rider just so we can... Since we're probably playing this Grave Knight before a Joan Vive regardless, let's go ahead and prep for that. Okay, yeah, especially now that he's played the Angel of War, we need to be very aware of Grave Knight as a possibility, so no more being stingy in this matchup. It is time to play these Grave Knights. clean man the cannons, cleaning up my board here. I think it's a pretty good Norbon turn. We've got the exact value we're looking for. Ooh, we even got a nice Grave Knight spawn. And now the question is, do I want to put a peasant in reach of this Dark Magician or not? Do I want to intentionally pollute his Joan Vive pool, or do I want to, you know, play it smart? Let's just play it smart. Okay, well, he's gonna get some... Oh, he's not taking the... Oh, yes he did. Duh. Of course. Couple good zombies there. We've got a nice Frost Whirl. Very nice little Frost Whirl answer. We know we're playing this peasant, it's then just a question of, do we trade or do we hold off for a mirror play? I think we're probably going to hold off for a mirror play. Just, there's not really much benefit into trading this Grave Knight right now. This is a very clean mirror turn. You know, we trade the peasants, we get exactly 3 of his and none of mine. A very clean mirror turn. I think we'll go ahead and backline our Frog Prince as well. You know, out of reach of my Grave Knight, but preparing for later on. The only problem with this madness here is that I'm only getting 2, I'm not getting all 3 no matter what I do. But that's okay. And because we've played this Grave Knight, you know, now we're in the opposite of, we're not rushing to play the Joan Vive, we are waiting till we've filled the pool with other stuff. It might be another good mirror turn. Let's see here. Yeah, that's our best opportunity. Well, we could do the End of Days, but this is, I think this is too good of a mirror turn to pass up, so we will hope that, well, okay, either the Joan Vive stays at 5 health or it dies. There's no in between here, so we're good either way there. Do I want to play a Witch Doctor right now? I think I do, just to put that in my Joan Vive's pool. Because my alternative option is a Rider, which just doesn't feel good right now. Alright, fingers crossed the Joan Vive dies here. The Joan Vive did not die. But, you know, this does give us the opportunity to potentially steal it as well. Ooh. Ah, okay, he's getting his extra Joan Vive anyways. I think we're going to take this trading post opportunity. See what that presents us with. I'll take it, I'll take it. Card I wanted to put in my deck, but wasn't able to find room for. I like it. I might get some extra Grave Knights out of this. Do I want to move the Frog Prince up or not? I mean, we know we want to play a peasant. Yeah, I think we want to move the Frog Prince up just because it's going to die to AoE if we don't, and this tomb and body setup makes it very hard for him to reach that Frog Prince even with a Joan Vive play. So we're going to move it up in preparation of the inevitable Man the Cannons that's coming to mess up my day. There's the follow-up, Joan Vive, and then, yep, can't reach the Frog Prince. And this Witch Doctor makes this Joan Vive play extremely awkward for him. But, you know, he doesn't really have good option other than to take the Witch Doctor, which works out well for me. We know we're going to move here, and we know we're going to move here. Then just a question of what we're doing after that. I think right now we're just going to... Do we play Essence just to mess with this? Yeah, I think we'll play an Essence here. Ooh, no spells in hand. Okay. Well, that gives us some information regardless. I think let's play a defensive rider, which will then block here and take face damage. Yep, so far it's going pretty well for us. We are in danger of him potentially playing a Grave Knight right now, which will definitely hurt. But even if he does, we have clean answers. Yep, there it is. But we have a very clean answer to that play. I think we're officially to the point that we're happy to play our own Joan Vive. It's perhaps not ideal, but we're going. Ooh, interesting. That's fun. That'll probably be next turn. But yeah, let's do it. Just giving us the potential to get this. Yep. Zombie pollution is very unfortunate for 5, 6. But at least we can kill this off. So we are not really at large risk of him stealing my Joan Vive. Zombie pollution sucked, but hey, we got a Grave Knight out of it, so we kind of averaged out. I'll take it. And then this is hopefully our next turn play. We get a clean discounted Flame Knight, and we get to do some shenanigans here. Oh good. I was worried he wouldn't give me a way to hurt her. That works perfectly. So this trade, we play the Flame Knight. Do we play it in the middle? Oh, okay, we know we're taking her back to hand. We know that's happening. And I think yeah, we play both of these. Do we pull the Grave Knight back, though, is the question. No, we'll keep the pressure up here. We're not going to trade right now, just because it's not a good trade. This way, if he wants to bring this Flame Knight down to where he can trade into the Grave Knight, then I'll be able to trade in with the Cleric. So it works. Not perfect, but it works. And we are well on our way to a second and possibly third Joan Vive, which probably secures this game for us. We do still have to be very wary about, you know, multiple Leviathans here, since they can be hard on us. Ooh, Final Flash. Final Flash is kind of a cool card. Like, personally, you know, I don't like the RNG, but I think it's one of those RNG cards that's really well made. Uh-oh, was that a... Oh boy. Oh no, he got the dream pull off of... Oh no. Well, I thought this was like guaranteed our game, but we may be in a little bit of trouble now. Let's get some bodies out there on the... Yeah, oh god. Okay. Oh, okay, well, I thought I had this game in the bag, but I may be in a little bit of trouble now. Am I dead? I think I survived, but oh boy, that's gonna hurt. And he got a Joan-Vive out of it, too. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Well, okay, so I'm pretty sure this would have been my game, but now it can go either way, and oh boy, sometimes RNG is just kind to you. I'm definitely favored in the matchup, but there's not much I can do about that there. He RNG'd into the Final Flash, which then... got the screams. Ah, brutal. And it's extra unlikely simply because you know, legends are a very low chance to pull them out of RNG things. So just that was the stars align moment for him. Which now tilts the game in his favor. It's not over yet. Like I could still recover here, but him getting a screams and a transcribed Joan-Vive probably is going to give him this one. We'll see though. We'll see though. We'll see what happens. Let's see, 3, 6, 9. So I will survive exactly if I do the Drain Life Baptism. Okay, but now I'm just kind of boned. I need an End of Days or a Dracula, or I'm just kind of screwed here. Let me think here. Okay, so I still have hope for a Dracula with the Sacrificial Knife play. Unfortunately, that is not going to do it. Okay. Could not find the End of Days, could not find the Dracula, and he just got the beautiful trifecta stars aligned dream, and you know, I'm not even mad about it. Like, the chances of that happening were so astronomically low. It's fine. it's funny. I'd be mad if this was a tournament, but like, sometimes it's fine. Funny things happen. It was I had a very commanding lead, and there wasn't much he could have played other than that insanity that would have brought this game back for him. But yeah, sometimes you get lucky. Alright, but let's see. Is there any way for me to survive here? I can take that out to heal, and then I can block, but 5, 6, 7, 8. No, he still just got lethal on board, no matter what. No matter what I do. Oh well, it happens. Did not expect to lose this one. Well, usually I like my showcase videos being a little more, you know, in my favor, but, you know, we're having a good time. We're seeing some funky stuff, and I still think I'm highlighting the power of this deck, that, you know, we're facing up against another good player, playing a very strong deck, and, you know, it's heavily in our favor unless I make some really sloppy mistakes or my opponent gets really lucky. And, you know, even with that luck, I still had a chance to recover and come back. You know, I had, I had 10 cards left in the deck. There were 3 cards that could save me, either a Dracula or one of my 2 End of Days. I think maybe a Grave Knight might have potentially... No, he's still lethal even there. Oh, well, I guess we're getting another game here. I was thinking about wrapping up for the day, but yeah, you don't want to end on a loss regardless. So let's go ahead and grab another round here. Alright, so we're up against green-purple, which is probably going to be a very, very aggressive deck here. Or it's going to be the Barbarian OTK. I think either way, let's pitch the rest of that, just look for more early game. So again, we're going to go for the peasant gameplay because we don't want to be wasting our rider or polluting our pool in a situation like this. Yeah, that Screams was pretty much the only thing that was going to save you that game, and it sure did. I still had a chance. I still had a chance if I could have, come back within an end of days or something along those lines, but I'm not even mad. Like, the chances of you pulling that off were so small, and just you had a stars aligns moment, and it was great. We had some very good games there. The first one I kind of the RNG favored you, and I made some mistakes, but it was winnable. Second one, just wasn't much to be done. Third one, I was giving you a bit of a thrashing, but then you pulled out that stars align combo, and that was it. Alright, since there is a strong chance that this is an item abuse deck, we're going to get this Colin Artist out here nice and early, which I think is going to be the play regardless. Like, I could have done a peasant, but that's what we want to be doing right now. Now, thanks for playing Ultraviolet. We had some fun there, and it was a good showcase, even if it didn't quite work out for me in the end. But that's okay. You can't win them all. I think there is enough. I'm not unhappy with the amount of RNG in this game. Like, a little bit of variance is healthy. The occasional wacky, exciting moment is fine, but for the most part, it usually comes down to skill and not RNG. The big funky RNG moments are less common, and that's just fine. Alright, so he's got some sort of trap here. Don't know what it is, but we're going to go find out. We're going to go block one of his summon spaces and find out what trap we have here. Precognition. Okay. I think we're definitely playing the Reaper here just to threaten that trading post. It's just a question of, do we want to be spending our metal right now? I don't think so, because we really don't need a peasant. We really don't want to play a rider right now, so we're just going to hang tight with our resources. Okay, just very trap-focused deck. That's kind of fun. What to do here? I'd like to snipe that post, but there's no way for me to do it currently. We do want to find out what trap he's going to play. What's the lowest cost unit? In case it is the Kunichi Mask, we want to try to attack this Velociraptor and see what that result is. What trap we got here? Okay, Kabuki Mask. Yep, okay, that's why we had... Ooh, and a Witch Doctor. Nasty. Let's see here. I could force the Norabon, but it doesn't feel great. I don't want to lose out value there. I could do a Curse of the Moon. I think Curse of the Moon's probably my best bet here. That'll clean that up nice. Do I want to play a Rider, though? No, I don't think so. We're going to hang on to the Rider to not pollute our pool, and again, we're up against purple, so rats are always a concern, so we want to save that for if rats decide they're showing up here. This will give us a nice, clean Norabon turn. Southport Slayer. Solid card. So we're probably going to want to try and trigger that trap with this peasant. You know, it'd be nice to just go after that supply depot, but we want to see what we have going on here. Again, we're going to attack the lower cost. Well, let me think. 7 cost units versus 6 cost units. I'm actually more afraid of most 6 cost units than I am 7 cost units. Although, hold on, what does Kabuki Mask do these days? Okay, it's +3. It's +3. So yeah, I think we're going to test for another Kabuki Mask here. What do we got? Oh, Bujutsu. Okay, well that's ideal. Peasant is exactly what you want to see dying to that. Alright, so perfect Norbon turn here. He may end up getting some high South Part Slayer value, but that's okay. For a cost horseback, solid, solid. Oh, interesting. He went for the even trade there. I would have expected him to take a 2-for-1, but works for me. And it's a little bit awkward for a response here. Let's see what I draw. Would have been nice to get a dagger, but that's okay. I think the play here is just Witch Doctor it up. Protect our trading post. Is it worth playing a rider right now? We're going to... do I trade into the frog? Yeah, I trade into the frog pence just so that the Witch Doctor will clean it up. I think we're just going to keep holding on to the Salahar rider for the moment, though. Can't truly protect our post because he can move the panda up, but we did our best. No, he didn't. He just went for face damage. He may be a little bit of a newer player because he's definitely putting himself in an awkward position now because he really wanted to kill that Witch Doctor before he played anything else, and now he has left my trading post alive and lost his opportunity to kill the Witch Doctor, which that was probably his best option, is just to trade the horse back into the Witch Doctor right there, like forget trading post or anything like that. Yeah, no. Okay, there we go. He did have an answer to the Witch Doctor, so. Although we have a very nice Grave Knight follow-up. A perfect 5. Quintet, is that what it is? Quintet of tunes? Another, ooh, that's going to be a big unit there. Okay, well, no more quintet. We only got our quartet, but that's okay. That's a big golem. That's gonna hurt if he's got a kill spell for this Grave Knight. That's gonna hurt a lot. Luckily we do have some healing in hand, so we're probably okay, but he's definitely getting his value out of those Kabuki masks. Oh, a Shiva, interesting. I think it's the first time I've seen a Shiva played. She is pretty neat. Like, she's definitely got some synergy and, like, Maldron and things like that. But I don't think she's, like, a real high-tier card. But she's very cool. Like, that has a lot of stats, and the RNG damage is kind of neat. A little bit of an awkward position. I think first things first, let's see what we're going to draw. Hey, Grave Knight, that's what we like to see. I think we definitely want to... Alternatively, we could just play a Salahar Rider there, but then he'll just trade that into something else. Yeah, I think we take the safe play here, just clear that off. Slam that in here, because we do need to be very concerned about Man the Cannon, so little benefit in us leaving those alive. And yeah, I think it's just time for another Dwarf Paladin here. See if we can find yet another Grave Knight. Alas, no fourth Grave Knight, but we got our average of 3, with the Frog Prince being our third choice. Okay. Well, we can get a clean kill on this Shiva with Drain Life and Paladin. I do sacrifice a tomb by doing that, which isn't ideal, but no, that's okay. So we'll take that trade. We'll make sure we play the Frog Prince first to maximize our cleave damage. And we'll just throw out a Peasant. Well, not a maximum value Grave Knight, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and take it. Just playing it right down the center, so there's nowhere for him to hide that panda at. He's doing his best over there with his very cool little trap deck here. I'm guessing this was, rats and traps, and just hasn't worked out too well for him this match, but that happens. You can't always get a good match. Alright, let's see. What's the most optimal we can play this turn? I think we are going to baptism this Harker. I prefer saving it for Joan Beeves or my Grave Knights, but I just want to press the advantage right now. Yeah, I can't think of many things he can draw that'll get him out of this. I mean, he could do like a Cosmic Equation Dagger Storm turn. That would give him a pretty good swing back. But with his hand size, we're not going to see any funky Barbarian OTKs either. So I think this game's fairly well in the bag. He's got a neat deck, but I think he might also just be a little bit of a newer player. So I feel bad bullying him, but hopefully he took something away from the match, learned a little bit, maybe found a way to improve his list. I mean, it's technically not over. Like, again, a Dagger Storm Cosmic Equation play could turn this around, potentially. I think Curse of the Moon's probably just the best choice here, although that does leave this Peasant as an option. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do a tiny bit of gambling and see where that takes us. I don't really need to be going crazy overboard trying to get the most efficient turn possible when I've got a lead like this. Especially with the Harker play. Like, there is not a lot he can do this turn. I mean, he could still do a Cosmic Daggerstorm turn, which would even the game state a little bit, but I just don't see him being able to come back regardless. That looks like game. Alright, well, it's been a little less than 2 hours here. We got some good games in. We had a lot of fun with our Ultraviolet matchup, even though they didn't really go our way. We showcased the list pretty well. I think we've shown, why it's pretty strong, and it's got pretty good matchups across the board for the most part. Sometimes luck doesn't go your way, though, and that's okay. And thanks for coming by, everyone, and we'll probably be at this again next week, about the same time, although there also may be some tournament stuff going on there, and I've volunteered to help cast, so I won't actually participate in this next little tournament we have here. I'll be, doing a little bit of the commentary. So, thanks for coming by, everyone, and we will see you next time.